Hello and welcome back to the Groundbreaker International YouTube channel. It's good to be with you here once again as always. And today I have got a video for you. You're going to want to stay tuned through the whole thing on this. We're going to be talking about 5783, the upcoming Jewish calendar year, and is there going to be a transfer of wealth? Well, I have some things that I want to share with you today that you're not going to want to miss that have to do with Gideon and the remnant army of Gideon that I believe that is rising up right now. And the letter Gamel in the Hebrew alphabet, it all ties in, and I want to release some information to you today that I believe is going to be extremely helpful to you. Before I do that, I want to put you in mind of one quick thing that we're going to talk about at the end of this video, and that is our Cyber Hebrew online classes are available now. That if you will get on cyberhebrew.net, you'll be able to sign up, and we'll talk about that more at the end of this video. But I want to stay on track today with this subject. So make sure you stay to the end of the video. So 5783 is coming up September the 25th. We're going to be crossing over from 5782 on the Hebrew calendar, which is the year of habitation, into 5783, which I've been deeming a year of Gideon's remnant army, because of course the number 3 in the Hebrew alphabet is representative of the letter gimel or gimel, however you want to pronounce it. There's a couple different ways to pronounce it depending on your dialect, so don't flip out on me about that. But the gimel is the number 3, and I'm going to show you a few things. First of all, with the gimel, it does start the name of Gideon, but I want to go into another aspect of the Gamel today, and that is the original pictograph, which is a rich man running after a poor man or impoverished person. Now, the Gamel is the number 3. The letter Dalet is the number 4. It's the next letter of the Hebrew alphabet. When we're looking at ancient Hebrew, we read from right to left as opposed to left to right as we do in the English. And so the rich man, the Gamel, is actually moving toward the letter Dalet. Well, what does the word Dalet mean in Hebrew? It means impoverished. It means to be in need of something, and it's a picture of a man bent over as he is in need of something. So we have the letter Gamel here, who is the rich man or the righteous one, who is running after the Dalet, and the ear of the Dalet is listening for the approaching Gamel. And so the rich man is running after the Dalet, or the impoverished one, to give him something. Well, the word Gamel, if you break down the original root word to Gamel, it's the word Gamal. And the word Gamal has a couple of different meanings. The first meaning of Gamal is actually to deal or to wean off of, or to give recompense to someone. So in other words, to give over and abundantly a return to them. And not just to give to them anything, not just to give to them for the sake of getting, but the impoverished one doesn't just need something in the natural, but the impoverished one needs to be weaned off of the poverty. And so that's what the Gamel is all about, is weaning off of poverty, or weaning them off of that need, so they can fend for themselves, so they can do for themselves. Now, keep that in mind as we talk about how that relates to the Gideon's remnant army, as we've been talking about in 5783. All right, so here is the other meaning of Gamal, which is the root word of Gamel. The other meaning to that root word is camel. It means a camel, like the animal in the desert, a camel. Now that's really interesting. I'll tell you a few reasons why as we talk about the wealth transfer in 5783. After Gideon defeated the Midianite army, he chased down the commanders, Zebah and Zalmunna, and he chased them down and ordered them to be killed for killing members of his family. And so he actually, once they caught them, he turned to his oldest son and he said to kill them. And his oldest son was still a child, they said in the Bible, that he was still a kid, and he became afraid. And so this is what happened in verse 21 of Judges chapter 8. So I want you to go there with me right now and read this, and especially focus on the last part of this concerning the wealth transfer. So Zebah and Zalmunna said, "Rise yourself," they said this to Gideon, "and kill us. For as a man is, so is his strength." So Gideon arose and killed Zebah and Zalmunna and took the crescent ornaments that were on their camels' necks. All right, get that. So he took off the riches that were on his enemies' necks. Now, I want you to understand something today, that it's an ancient fact that you live off of your enemies, okay? So if you read The Art of War by Sun Tzu, you will read that to win a war, one of the biggest tips in winning a war is to live off of your enemies. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means once you conquer a territory, take the plunder to feed your army. Take the plunder for yourself so that you will have enough, so that your army will have enough, and that you take the riches off of your enemy. Oh, somebody needs to get this today. Now watch this. The name Zebah means slain. All right, it means slain or defeated, slaughtered. Now Zalmunna, his name meant deprived of protection. Somebody needs to understand what I'm saying right now. I believe that during this time period in 5783, how it relates to Gideon's army. Now, if you don't understand why 5783 relates to Gideon's army, you need to go back in the 5783 is coming video and remember that that Gideon's name begins with the gimel, all right, which is the letter that is for this year, 5783. And anytime that a name or a word begins with a letter, there's special significance on it. And so I believe that this year, and there's a whole lot of other things that tie into it, but Gideon, the gimel, the remnant, the wealth transfer, everything ties in together. And I believe that the enemy has been exposed during this time period and is running without protection. I believe that the enemies of God have already been defeated and that the remnant of God's army, those who are the true remnant that are standing up and fighting for what is right, not in the natural realm, but in the spiritual realm, we've been fighting and contending for a move of God, and we have not backed down from anybody or any system. I believe that the true remnant have already won the victory, that all we have to do is perform the actions of praising and decreeing and declaring as we are still in the decade of the mouth. We're still in the decade of the pay, the 80 decade, to decree and declare. As long as we continue to decree and declare and fight from victory, we already have the victory. The enemy's already been slain, already been defeated, and the enemy has been exposed during this time period. I believe that the enemy is running frightened, that he's running afraid. And I believe that this year, as the stock market is crashing, as inflation is skyrocketing, going sky high, gas prices are increasing, all these things economically in the world, and I know especially even for us in the United States right now, things economically are looking very bleak in the natural. But I believe that there is something happening over this next year as God's remnant people are rising up. It's a parallel. If you look at America, it's a parallel to ancient Rome. When Nero was living lavishly and spending all of the people's money because the taxes were so high, that it's a parallel to what's going on right now. We see in the political realm that people are living lavishly and they're living it up, and they're declaring that our economy is great when it's not. And they're living all this life as the country is burning to the ground. Christians are being persecuted. I'm talking about in America right now. We're seeing, I just talked to someone last night that is barely, going to church. And he was talking to me about how they're seeing Christians being persecuted, and that they could even see a time coming where it would be their life or their faith. As we're seeing all of this happen right now, it's a parallel to ancient Rome right before its fall. However, there's a remnant rising up of God's people. There's a remnant of Gideon's army. It's a parallel to Gideon's army that is rising up. And guess what? Asking about, will there be a wealth transfer? Just as Gideon slay his enemies and took the spoils of war, the spoils of war are meant for the remnant army. I want you to understand that today. Gideon killed the commanding officers and took their wealth. And the camel is a symbol of wealth. What does a camel do? Well, he stores up water. He stores up nutrients so he can go further. That he's got an overabundance. That's what the humps are on his back, is fat and water, so that the camel can store up and have an overabundance so that he'll have more later to carry on the mission. Well, guess what? Gideon not only slayed his enemies, but he took the wealth off of the neck of the enemy. And I do believe that this coming year that we are going to see a transfer of wealth. Now, how does that look exactly? I don't know exactly. What does that mean? Well, I believe that if we are continually moving in the presence of God and seeking after Him, we become the true remnant of God when we are ready to fight for the Lord, and that we are ready to stand up for Him, even in the face of persecution. Just like during COVID, I can't tell you how many people, how many ministry friends of mine that said, we did great during the COVID period. All the lockdowns, when no one had any places to go preach, when all the churches were shut down, well, not all the churches, but when a lot of the churches were shut down and all that was going on, it would seem like no one would get anything in recompense. And even aside from government money, forgetting all of that kind of stuff that we're paying for now, to be honest with you, with the inflation, but even aside from all of that, they were still blessed during that time period. Why is that? Because when you fight for God, you're fighting in the correct kingdom. You're fighting for the right side. Now, if you have one foot in the world and one foot in the church, one foot on God's side, one foot on the world's side, you aren't fighting for either army. You're fighting for the enemy. So you're either on the Lord's side or you're not. And so those type of people, I don't believe we're going to see a transfer of wealth. I see more fear, more destruction, more pity upon them than ever before, honestly. I do believe that there's an economic shaking that is coming. We're already here. We've been talking about it. Did a video on 5782, the shaking is coming. I do believe that we're seeing the precursor to that shaking right now, and I believe it has a lot to do with the economy. But during all of that, I'm still of the belief that we don't live in the world's economy. We don't live in the economy of the United States. We live in God's economy. And if you live in God's economy, you live in the most blessed economy because you are a king, or rather, you are a child of the Most High King. And the King owns everything. He owns a cattle on 1,000 hills today. So I don't believe that the wealth transfer is for everyone. I believe that it is going to be for those who are willing and obedient to do the work of the Lord and not just sit at home and cower on your couch in fear, but to go out and do the work of the Lord God, our Most High Creator. And I believe that what they have fought to keep is unprotected. What the enemy has fought to keep is unprotected right now. And the remnant of God is going to get the spoils of war. I believe that whatever the enemy has been fighting to keep, those camels of abundance have been stored away in storehouses of the enemy. I believe that right now they're unprotected. And it's time for the wealth transfer to happen. Now, I pray it for you. I pray it for the remnant of God's people. And I pray it for myself and our ministry as well. So today, be encouraged because you stick close to God. You keep seeking His face. And I believe that the righteous one, the Gamel, is coming to give those who are in need life and life more abundantly. Isn't that great news today? Listen, if you enjoyed this, I want you to like and subscribe to this channel, but I want you to go to cyberhebrew.net right now and sign up. It's very affordable, $75 sign up, and you get unlimited access to over 5 hours of teaching. And you're going to learn the Hebrew alphabet. You're going to learn how to speak it, how to pronounce the letters. You're going to learn the Hebrew gematria, all the numbers behind it. You're going to learn the deep secrets, the deep mysteries behind the Hebrew alphabet as well. And you're going to be able to read some Hebrew, write some Hebrew, and even speak a little bit of Hebrew by the end of this course. But more importantly, you're going to be able to study the Bible like never before. You're going to learn the Hebrew calendar, all of the Jewish customs and cultures and the Jewish calendar year, how to decode those things, how to decode words, and really get down to the depths of God's Word. So cyberhebrew.net, you can find it also on our website, gbreaker.org. You can get to Cyber Hebrew from there as well. But listen, I want you to go sign up for that. It's very easy to do. You can do it on your mobile phone, you can do it on your tablet, or you can do it on your desktop device. But it's open now. You can begin learning Hebrew right now. So what are you waiting on? Go sign up for Cyber Hebrew at cyberhebrew.net. The link is in the description as well. Also, if God leads you to sow a seed of blessing into this ministry, this is good, fertile kingdom ground today. We so appreciate all of the financial partners that we have. Make sure you sign up to become a ministry partner with us and receive our digital newsletter every month, and also all of the upcoming events and everything going on. You'll receive some communications from us. Stay connected to Groundbreaker International. Until next time, God bless you, God bless your family, and we'll see you all again real soon. Please be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and ring that notification bell so you can receive updates for when new content arrives. Also be sure to visit our website at gbreaker.org. From there you can learn more about Groundbreaker International, and if the Lord leads you to do so, you can sow a financial seed of blessing. Now, I would like to invite you to check out one of these other videos from Groundbreaker International's YouTube channel. Until next time, God bless.